I don't know about you guys, but the thought of cutting these wires is terrifying me. This car looks epic, but it's got to be wired nice. So today, I'm going to be cutting the ESC wires for the first time. Oh dear. So hopefully it goes well, but if it doesn't, you're going to see that. We're going to shorten all the wires. We're going to dial it all in. Iced coffee on the go always. We're set up. Wish me luck. Let's go. I'm terrified. Okay, so the idea here is we are going to want ESC somewhere on the plate around there. Receiver we're going to have that way up, but just going to hide some of the wires. We're going to have the ESC wire, which is at full length, coming under the ESC through a channel in the tape. That's going to come out this side, straight into the receiver. Servo is actually already shortened, come like that from factory. Transponder is also done, so it's just going to be the ESC wire, and this is the B6.4 setup on the cable length, so they're going to be slightly too long, so we're going to shorten these off, tidy them up, and hopefully we're going to end up with something that looks awesome. And we've actually got loads left to do because we've got the debut coming up with the B7, and we've got to acetone all of these off, which pains me to do it because there's loads of life left on these tyres. But at my club, we're all so close to the top. We're chasing tenths, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, and the difference can be that amount of wear on the tyres. So we've got to get those acetoned, and we've got to get the shell for the B7 painted, and that's going to be awesome. That's going to be coming up in a video. So Project Tray. That's going to be the ESC wire we are going to cut. So yeah, good luck with that one when it comes round to it. We're going to be shortening these wires. So we've got the first one done. We just need to snip off the second, and then the third. Yeah, let's get to work. Gonna get a little bit of solder on there. Make sure it's flowing nice. I think they call that tinning up, if I'm not mistaken. Just going to let a little bit of solder onto the fresh cable ends, which are going to go onto the motor, which I'm sure you know. So next up, let's get it on the motor. Right, so let's have a little update. So ESC temporarily in place. We've got the ESC wires soldered in. Not perfect, but I'm quite happy with that. We're going to change the wire, or we're going to put some heat shrink on the positive cable as well, because I did blow up an ESC, or luckily the capacitor blew a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we'll take that. Next up, we're going to do the ESC wire. plan now, let's get this ESC out gently. Let's get that off there, our temporary holder. Okay, so some double-sided Gorilla Tape on this ESC. We want to be putting a channel kind of sitting around this top end. So let's run the tape and then, so the idea is this is going to be hidden under here. So it's going to eliminate the cable that's going to be out as such. So we're going to want to cut a channel out of the tape so it can sit in there nicely. Something like that. So now that wire can sit in there and it's not going to protrude in any way. I think that's going to work. So before I actually stick this in, I'm going to cut the ESC cable first, just so it's easier to kind of handle. So we need to just work out where we're going to cut. So if that's going to sit here, wire under the channel, it's going to be about there, capacitors will sit here. So I'm going to go a little bit safe, just a little bit safe, just so if I mess it up, or a little bit more cable to go with. So I think we're going to cut it off somewhere around here. You can kind of hook round into the receiver. And let's go with there. No going back from now. With a nice clean cut. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. What we are going to do as well is I just want to see how these new pieces actually go on. I want to see if this bit actually grips onto the rubber or if it grips onto the cable itself. So let's just have a little look. So if you want to take these off, just lift up these little plastic prongs here. And it should just pull out. Okay. That's what we're going to end up with, hopefully. So we can see that these, so this lower part actually grips onto the wire, the shrouding, is that the right one? Of the cable itself. And then this flatter rectangle part actually grips onto the cable itself. Cool, okay. I'm going to try and make sure these are all even, because I don't want any of these to be different lengths. I'm going to try and keep it perfect. So I think we're looking all right so far. This is fiddly for my okay, I think. I think that was a little bit better. Yeah, I think that one's probably better. Do you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I am quite happy with that. Fairly easy to use. I think this was a Hobby King crimper, but I mean, it's not absolutely perfect, but to be honest, as long as it works when we plug it in, I'm quite happy with that. So now all we've got to do is get the ESC in place with the channel, wire coming under, and then we're going to fit the receiver, going to fit the servo, transponder, and we're going to see if we need to shorten any more cables to try and get that factory look. Yeah, we'll take that. If you're apprehensive about giving these a go, give it a go. Get an old ESC, get an old cable, practice it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to practice a few more times tomorrow just to make sure I can kind of nail that down, but we might end up still having issues with it, so only one way to find out. Let's carry on. We'll work out what to do with the capacitors now. I was going to have them here, obviously, but they don't sit quite straight. It's only very, very slightly out, but it's just enough to annoy me. So we'll work that out after. But let's get the servo in the receiver, and then we can route these cables, work out what we're going to do with this. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that so far. Savox servo. The wire's already been shortened, comes like that factory. So ideal on that one. So we don't need to do that. So let's just get this in place. And then we can get the rest of the cabling sorted. I'm gonna set the servo up later on. Just want to get it all wired in first. As we can see, it's starting to come together now. So we've got the servo in, already got the short cable, ESC in, cable under the channel, short cable. Got to work out where we're going to put that capacitor, but we want it to be looking as clean as possible. The receiver, once we get that in, it's going to sit there, and then we're going to basically hide as much cable as we can for that factory blessings. So let's work out some cable routing. So we're going to mount the receiver lying down, so we kind of hide the connectors. I'm going to give that a go anyway, so that's going to kind of stay like that, and then we need to hide as much of the cables as we can. So let's just get it plugged in and we can see where we can go. So we want to sort that out, but I think lengthwise it could be okay. We just need to sort it, route it a little bit better. So see, now I'm considering, do we have the receiver up? Do we have it up? Do we have it down? I think I can probably route the cables better if it's up. We'll kind of sit something like that, maybe, with some clay. Let's see what we can do. Can work with that. What we're going to do is get the transponder in there as well. We don't want to wire it all in without the transponder in and have to take it all back out. Don't know if I'm being too pedantic. I just really want to hide as many cables as possible. I'm sure you guys understand. I know it doesn't make a difference to how fast the car goes, but good for the mind. Kind of fairly happy with that, I think. Just need to now get this receiver in, but it's going to look something like that. Once we get that receiver in, we'll be able to secure everything properly. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. You can kind of see where I'm going with that. It's hidden to a degree. Just need to keep tidying up, keep working away. Try and hide as much of these cables as possible. Just get that transponder in.
Just carefully take this backing off. It's really sticky stuff. You got any recommendations for some double-sided sort of foam gel tape that's not so much of a nightmare to get off? Oh, I'm quite happy with that so far. It's obviously not finished, but it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that compared to how it's been in the past. So we've got to get that capacitor in now, and that ESC's coming a little bit loose, so we need to just look at that, make sure it's secure. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. What do you think? Any tips, any pointers? She looks fast. So I am super happy with that. Much better than it was before. It's pretty clean. I think next time there's a few things that I'll do slightly different, but this is what it's all about. It's about learning and improving, and don't expect perfection the first time every time, but I think the majority of people are going to be happy with that. It certainly is good for my brain. So there we have it, just the balance cable to go, which is going to run in that channel. But overall, guys, I hope that wasn't too painful for you. I think the idea behind it is just have a go, have a practice. I think majority of people would probably be happy with that. Obviously, I know there's a few experts out there probably looking at that and thinking, what is he doing? But we're all about learning here on Shortening RC. That's definitely a marked improvement. It's not going to make too much of a difference to how fast it goes around the track. It's going to look a bit quicker on the bench. Thanks for watching, guys. Next up, we've got to paint this shell. We've got to acetone some tyres. All coming in the next couple of days for our big race of the weekend. Let's go.